Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
$7.46.
We're laughing in the background, ladies and gentlemen, because I forgot to change my microphone over after after updating my computer. But good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're watching from. Welcome back to the Racecraft Simulations V8 Veterans action here for the Split 2 race of Season 23, Round 5 at Barber Motorsports Park here this evening. I'm your commentator, Hamish Munro, joined once again by the great Brett Fisher alongside. I nearly called you Damon then.
Yo.
But no, it's not Damon, it's
not
Brett
Damon.
Fisher.
It's not Damon.
It's not Damon. It's not Damon. We're coming here tonight 150 Ks for what is bound to be an absolute blinder of a race. I know you call it a cracker every single week, Brett, but a short, sharp contest around Charlotte's Web of Barber Motorsports Park. Who is going to get stuck in the web of this circuit and who's going to be able to break free and get some solid championship points? All will be answered across the evening's worth of racing as well. Brett, big night though for us.
Oh, mate, it's going to pop off something shocking tonight, I reckon. There's going to be toys thrown out of the cart. There's going to be celebrations. There's going to be all sorts of stuff, I reckon. I've just got a feeling in me groin. Bones.
Loins? Was loins the word you're looking for?
Yeah, somewhere about that. Yeah. You know how it is.
We of course have to get the formalities out of the way first of all. Happy birthday to Split 2 driver Adrian Zeal, as everyone is saying in the chat. So thought we'd just get Zippy's moment of glory out of the way, being his birthday nice and early for us, and now we can talk about the track, Brett.
Rightio, and what a track it is.
Yep, it's a phenomenal track. Let's have a quick gander at the layout, of course. Barber Motorsports Park, located on the eastern side of the US, not too far north, sort of northwest of Florida, up in Birmingham. I want to say Georgia because it's near Atlanta, but it might not be Georgia. I may be wrong on that front. But as we trickle our way on down to have a quick look at the circuit, of course, most well known for the insect statues that are around the circuit, namely the Big Spider Charlotte in the middle. It is 3.8 Ks, 2.3 miles. It was opened back in 2003. It's in Alabama, okay, Birmingham, Alabama. 15 turns, but technically I think it's actually equals out to about 19 turns because they like to add some number with letters in there too. But it's a tough race circuit. It is tough to make passes. It's one that has been on iRacing for a very, very long time and has been a part of the officials for a very, very long time as well. And one that I think these drivers are going to be tested by tonight. Brett, yourself included, of course, you were in the field. But it's in a very odd place. I mean, it's in the middle of nowhere. It's owned by this gentleman who has got a car museum here, and then of course he has an avid collection of insect statues all situated around the circuit, as we said, namely Charlotte, the giant spider out there too. But we start on the main straight for then the slightly downhill run towards turn 1, which dips right downhill and then back up again straight away for turn 2, round 3. And then around turn 4 as well. This little roller coaster section to start out the circuit, quite difficult to get the car balanced through there and trying to figure out what your perfect line is. Drivers are also going to have to be cautious of cars coming out of pit lane tonight, and then those coming out of pit lane are also going to have to be cautious of cars on their inside as well. It's a tough little spot, one where getting caught up under brakes is very, very easy. Turn 1 is a good passing opportunity, and if you can put the pressure on someone to make a mistake through 1, it makes turn 2 a nice passing opportunity as well. But that first little section there of that little almost fat upper thigh area of a dog leg for 1, 2, 3, and 4, it's going to be about trying to maximize your run to get yourself down to the best passing opportunity of the whole track, turn 5, at the end of the second straight, where I don't know, I've seen throughout the week of racing here at this circuit that cars have been getting caught out on the straight, somehow hitting the wall going in a straight line. I don't know how that's possible. And then also just getting caught out on the brakes and locking brakes into 5A and 5B.
I think that's the thing, is that it's a very busy track. There's not much rest time, and when you do have a break, it's only a short, sharp breath. You know, like, it's very undulating. It's up and down. It's loading the car. It's offloading the car. You know, there's a lot going on, which is good and bad, because if the driver in front of you gets it wrong or you get it wrong, you've got, someone behind you's got an opportunity to take advantage of that completely. But and we've gone back.
That's got it.
We go. And very, very, very interesting start to the track. And as you say, come down to 5A and 5B. You take it away, Hamish.
Yeah, and as you run up around that corner, then getting the car situated for 6 now, you can often see drivers getting kind of overlap with each other off the exit of 5B. We saw in the Split 3 race, there were some drivers who got caught up and then spun round in towards the wall on the right-hand side at 6. As the fast run down happens towards 7, you've pretty much got to get your car lined up directly alongside, mirror to mirror, with the car alongside you if you're trying to go for a move at 7. Otherwise, you just got to get the hell out of there, because it is a tightening run down the hill of 7 to 7A through 7B again, trying to get the car turned around turn 8. It's a tough little section of circuit, but if you can maximize the run through there, it's a slow run. If you can maximize the run, you can set yourself up well for a solid run through 9 and 10 and then up towards 11 and into 12. And if you do it properly and apply the right amount of pressure, you can actually then cause a mistake from your competitors at turn 12, which I've seen quite often. Drivers will get caught up with the curvature on the left-hand side of the exit of 12, and then they'll actually end up in the wall on the right-hand side off the exit as well. So they've got to be cautious through that section. Pick your battles. Pick when you want to apply the pressure. I think the highest pressure gauge you're going to feel, though, is through 12, especially if someone is right on your honker as you're coming up through there. But then again, if you set yourself up well and you've looked after your tyres, that's another major point we'll have to talk about tonight as well, is tyres. You get then a nice run up through 13, 14 and 14A. Now drivers have to be cautious through here. I saw only the other day someone blew it up and ended up on the grass and decided, well, I'm going to have to take a pit stop now because I'm heading towards the exit. And this is another section, Brett, where we could see drivers going too wide, trying to set up a move at 15 if they can, but it's a tough area to do it. You've really got to earn your stripes, earn your positions in this race. And you've got to fight for it. There's no doubt about it. You've got to fight for it. But one of the big challenges that is now faced to drivers trying to fight for positions here tonight is the limitations of tyre sets. They start on a tyre set, and then across their 2 compulsory pit stops, they're only allowed 1 change of tyres. And balancing out when you decide to take those tyres could make or break your race. Deciding if you're going to be playing for a safety car or not could make or break your race as well. And then anything in between, well, who knows? Hands up in the air, see what happens, and by the end of the 150 laps or 40 laps we go racing around here, we'll have a race winner on our hands. And do we get another new winner, or do we go double for the first time this season?
Time will tell. Oh, geez, bit too much echo. Sorry about that.
That was. I did not realize we were setting the energy so early here for trying to build up the intensity with some echo there, Brett. I mean, yeah.
Sorry about that.
Are you in the chasm of Matt Muggleton's ego after he took his first win of the season a few weeks ago? I mean,
sorry about that, everyone. I'll gather myself back up again. I'll get out of the cave. Here we go. Sorry, Hamish. Where were we?
Tyre sets and how that's going to affect drivers planning their strategies this week.
It's tyre sets. Wow, like that was a real head scratcher. That was for some people it might not have been. For others, it, I mean, the way I was thinking about it, I mean, were we going to get an early safety car? And if we get an early safety car, what are you going to do? You're going to fill the car up. You're going to take tyres. What are you going to do? And then trying to balance it, look, there's a whole heap of strategies throughout the that could have played out. And obviously every race is the same. They all have different strategies that might play out. But I think by having one set of tyres compounded that short race, so yeah, it really was something you have to really think about on the fly as you go through the race and just work it out. And some people who struggle with pit stops might struggle a bit to sort of get their head around everything and get it right. But then some people who are all over it might be able to take it to their advantage.
So, I mean, we mentioned it's that balancing act of, when do you take your tyres across your 2 stops? Do you pit early before critical lap of lap 8 in case there's an early safety car, or do you play the safe game of hoping it's a long green run? It's risky coming in early and playing to the safety car. It's a big gamble. It doesn't always pay off. It's not the preferred strategy, at least for the majority of the field most weeks. But I have a feeling that at least half the field is going to play for that safety car, because this track can lead to them. It's going to be dependent on what the vibe is on track in those first 8 laps before critical lap of lap 8.
And that's what I was saying, is that it would really sort of benefit for those people who can actually read the play quickly and get on top of that as fast as you can. I mean, and it's not, there's a lot happening in this in the pit entry and stuff like that. So, you can make a last minute decision, and if you haven't actually if you haven't got yourself organised, it's going to be a red hot mess. But as you're saying, like playing to that safety car, do you what strat you're going to go with and everything like that, and how's it going to play out. I was, I saw a few people, and I don't want to play a spoiler here, but I saw a few people peeling off early. And I'm thinking, as I was trundling away, is that the right thing? Get in early, so if there is a safety car come out, you get past that critical lap, you're all fueled up, you've tired up, you've done your 2 stops, and you can go all the way home. But at the end of the day, are you going to run out of tyres? Are you going to, there's all that to consider.
So we come into this round, Brett, with all that in the back of the drivers' minds, knowing that we've currently got 4 different winners on circuit this season. Jim Caperonis, who won at Sebring, Matt Muggleton, Trent Allen, who won in round 2 at Bathurst, Matt Muggleton, who won at Mid-Ohio, and then Sean Vandermillen, who won last week at Donington Park. Trent Allen's, of course, out this season with some technical issues, unfortunately, so that's taken him out of the equation. So the 3 out of 4 winners who are still here in Caperonis, Vandermill and Muggleton, you know, plus then you've also got the sneaky outsiders of your Ricky Hydes, your Shane Randalls, your Halil Cesars, even Brian Minogue's been up there week in and week out, Chris Blanchard, Andrew Rushworth, etc. Where do we think this championship's leading to? Because I have a feeling it's almost becoming a 3-horse race, although we'll only really know how many horses are in the starting box by the time we get a multiple-time winner this season. Does it happen tonight at Barber? Who knows? But if we get another first-time winner, unless it comes from those other outside picks of your Randalls, your Hydes, your Minogues, etc., then I think we're still in the same scenario. If it comes from a driver who's further back and they've lucked their way to the win through smart, I don't say luck as in a bad way. I mean this very, very well. If they luck their way to the win, not on pace, but on their strategy playing out perfectly for them and them being able to race their way to the win, does that then put them in the championship battle? Because I don't think it does necessarily, because it's going to be dependent on how far back they are in the field currently for those championship standings. So if it's someone who's currently 20th or below in the standings and they take the win tonight, is that going to have as much of a major factor on the championship if the front runners still finish at the front? I don't think so. If they blunder it and finish it at the back and someone from outside the top 20 wins the race, I don't know if it still has as big of an impact or not.
I mean, look, time will tell. And the other thing to consider too is we've got our drop rounds coming up, so that's going to affect things. That'll level the playing field a bit. But we're only halfway through the season, so we've still got another half. So you know, and same again, not putting the Mozer on anyone, but you know, I mean, if our top 5 guys have absolute shockers that they can't, you know, recover from the drop rounds, that could have a major impact as well.
I think the one who's probably got the main amount of pressure on them at the moment is Vandermeer, and he has to perform. He's already used one of his drop rounds at Sebring.
Definitely behind the 8 ball,
and last week's win definitely brought him back up to high spirits and obviously winning ways. He won the race. If he can back it up this week with another podium, he's all of a sudden one of the main contenders again. He's obviously a contender because he's won the race. It wouldn't surprise me. He's got incredible pace. You know, as the warm-up comes to an end, we're only going to be 40 laps away from getting it answered for you. As we mentioned, critical lap is lap 8 here this evening. So watch for the early pit stoppers playing to the safety car. Drivers can get around about 17 laps out of their initial tank of fuel of 50 litres, running a rough estimate of about 2.9 litres per lap on average around here for average lap times of around about 1 minute 27. So it'll be interesting how it plays out, but qualifying has started in a perfect manner for Southern Cross Racing. For the first time in Split 2, it is a 1-2 start for SCR, with Jim Caparonis, the championship leader, starting in pole alongside his team boss Andrew Hoffman on the front row. Vandermeulen will start P3. That's a great effort. Brian Minogue up there too. Blanchard and Muggleton for your top 6. So the 3 race winners this season who have continued on will all start inside of the top 6 here this evening. Reese DeGoey, Simon Heddersheed with Paul Burns and Shane Randall inside of the top 10 in qualifying. Andrew Rushworth and Mick Clifton will then make up our top 12, with Halil Cesar and Adrian Zeal for the top 14. Mikey Harland, a bit of a dip in qualifying efforts from the last couple of weeks. He'll be disappointed with that. He'll be trying to move forward here tonight. Same thing for Halil Cesar. Matt Stoyles, Rick Viger and Dave Arney will then start for your top 18, with Steve Lanyon and Damon Fisher for the top 20. Chad Viger and Simon Haynes will then start ahead of Brett Fisher and Derek Lovegrove for your top 24, with Lorne Mackay, Sean Cullen, Brett Taylor, Jeremy Bush for the top 28. Scott Weston, Bretton O'Brien, Michael Quain will then make up the top 31 cars on the grid, with Tim Mulford and Ricky Hyde starting at the back of the field, as well as Nick Hasler, with Matt Scholes serving a pit lane start for a license points penalty from back at Mid-Ohio a few rounds ago. So we take a breath and we think to ourselves here, will Hoffy be feeling the pressure starting on the front row after the rut of bad luck that he has been in?
Well, I'll tell you what, he's got to be feeling good.
That would definitely would have lifted the spirits. Would have lifted the spirits. This is probably what he needed. But now it is for Hoffy, you feel it's a case of pressure has to create diamonds for him. He needs to back this up now. Even if he doesn't get a podium, if he just gets a top 10 and he finishes without having an extra traverse through the lane, that'll be a win, I think, for him.
It's got to be building to his confidence though, knowing the fact that he's put the car on second second slot.
That's right.
And also having his teammate there on P1 in Jim, well, you know, that's got to sort of go, okay, well, you got to feel a little bit protected, I guess. But, you know, we'll see what happens after the start anyway.
We're only a couple of seconds away from the start lights going up for the drivers. Apparently, Jim told him off for last week, maybe, or the last couple of weeks, as he said he would. So apparently, Jim has been whipping the crack on Andrew Hoffman to get him back up to high spirits, which is good.
Yep.
It's good that your teammates are there to support your Hoffy as well. The lights, though, will be going up for the drivers momentarily as the revs begin to rise here at Barber Motorsports Park. Skulls gets into his car in pit lane. Barney looks to wave the flag for 150 Ks and 40 laps. It is green flag running as the scramble towards turn 1 begins, but Hoffy has bogged it off the start and is already dropping positions further and further back. Bit of a door with Brian Minogue, and he's getting absolutely swamped as we run up through 2 and 3, but now it has to be damage limitation mode for Andrew Hoffman. He cannot let this overcome him.
No, he got squeezed out there on the turn 1 as well, but let's see, it comes down to turn 3 and 4, I think. Well, there's someone out there wide. Is that Mick Clifton?
That's Mickey Clifton on the outside. So Mick's had a good start. He's up 5 positions at the moment. Hoffy's down 6.
He did well to get around the outside of him on that corner, Holden. So that was a great move there.
He did very, very well. Big gainer already. Ricky Hyde up 9 spots of this race. Weston up 8. Mackay is up 7 as well. Make that 10, make that 11 for Ricky Hyde as he continues to try and fight his way forward as well. But Hoffy is trying to battle his way back through the field, on board with his teammate Jim Caperonis, the championship leader. He leads the race at this stage with Vandermeer and hot on his heels of the 9.5 Sim Sports entry. Then there's Blanchard and Muggleton. We know how fast Muggleton's been over the last few weeks. Of course, our driver of the day from last week at Donington Park in the Anzac Day round. Head of sheet for your top 5 at the moment. He's found good pace here this evening. Clifton, Hoffman, Randall, Rushworth and Cesar for your top 10. As Brian Minogue is in the absolute wars off the start line. We saw him get doored off, ran a bit wide at turn 1, and he's dropped all the way back to P34. You have to wonder if there's been an off track, but this will be hurting him at the moment.
Yeah. It looks like Jim and Vandermeer have got a nice little breakaway there. They've got a little bit of over a second length chart. So they're away nicely there, so they'll be happy with their start. Now they'll probably just get in and have a bit of a settle. Be looking at Weston and Fisher.
Yeah, I noticed that Damon had a bit of a dropout then, so I was making sure it wasn't a bad blanking opportunity. It just seems it was a one-off for him, so he's kept it nice and tidy at this stage. Further up, Lomakai's under pressure here from Steve Lanyon, who's had a bit of an up and down season thus far. Hopefully next season is one of positivity for Steve Lanyon. He'd love to get back to winning ways. We know he's got pace. It's whether he can put the time in and find what he might be missing this season. Whether it's being comfortable in the car or just getting the confidence back, we'll have to wait and see, because time will tell all tales for us. Further up the field, though, Andrew Rushworth, hot on the heels of Shane Randall. These guys have been battling it out all season. Same with Halil Cesar. You cannot separate these 3 drivers across the first 4 rounds. It's going to continue tonight in Barber, it seems. Can they hold position? Strategy and time management will be crucial for them. Starting so far up the field as Lanyon, Haynes and Hyde and Harland are already in. So they're going for early stops here. They're playing for a safety car.
That top 4 have closed the gap a bit there too, just on that last closing lap. So that'll be interesting to see what happens up the front there as well. But there's still some great little battles down further down the track. Burns is right on the back of Cesar. We've got so he's having a bit of a look there. Great section of track this too. You know, like you can go for a little bit of move on the inside, but you've really got to make sure you get that car right up on the inside and make it clean. Otherwise, you know, and it's same again coming out of that corner. You can sort of get up and there's a bit of a hump and a rise. So you're fighting for traction all the way through that corner. Another great little section of track to get. If you get it 100% right, you feel confident coming out of here. But it's very easy to get it wrong skipping through those corners there as well.
Yeah, we mentioned how tight 7A or 7 through 7B is. And it is, as I said, unless you are right alongside the other car, literally mirror to mirror, you just need to back out of it. It is not worth it.
There was a few times on track that I got a decent run out of a couple of those corners, and knowing that we're coming up to another section of corners, I actually backed out, took that opportunity to back out because I thought there's just no point in forcing a move, pushing yourself up there and just making things just go haywire. So
further up the field, we mentioned those gaps have been shrinking a little bit here. We can see Cez is starting to drop back from Rushworth a little bit, who's continuing to apply the pressure on Randall. Hoffman trying to chase down Clifton at this stage. Then there's Headersheet, all on his lonesome at the moment. But the front four have really rocketed away. Muggleton and Blanchard with a comfortable gap between them. This will be good for them to save some tyres, maybe even save a little bit of fuel. As Lorne Mackay, where has he ended up? He's off the track at turn 4. Maybe a bit of oversteer has caused him to... Or maybe he found a weed out there and he wanted to do the groundskeeper's job for him.
Yeah. I did see a few cars in practice getting through that corner there and just getting on the gas a little bit early, in the back of the car steps out and shoots across to the right. And he's done well to keep that off the barrier there, and he lives to fight another day.
Scholes and Bush into pit lane now as well. That gives Mikey Harland a position. What a performance he had last week. His first podium in the Vets. He's far back in the field tonight because he's already taken one pit stop, hoping to get out of the wars and get some clean air to push on. See how this strategy plays out for him throughout the night as well. The birthday boy, though, Adrian Zeal, is already up one position into P13 on the back of Rick Varga at the moment. Got Reese Degoe in behind him as well. I have a feeling that Zippy may be going for that early pit stop strategy before critical lap or around critical lap, and then hoping for a safety car possibly, because...
Sorry, mate. We just see Dave Arney in the pit, so he's making another early stop. And this is lap 5 of 40, so they're peeling away pretty quick here.
Yeah, the further and further they go on, or the closer and closer that they get to critical lap, the more the pressure's going to be like, oh, we could get a safety car and I haven't pitted yet, I better come in. So I know that I can pit after the next lap and I can get home. But it's going to be a tough go, because I know drivers have been saying you can get maybe 25 to 30 laps on the tyres pretty conservatively, but that could also come down to driving style, because if you're a driver who rides the rears quite a lot, you could cook those tyres so quickly and all of a sudden you're on ice skates for the rest of the race.
Well, I did a run on 30 laps and I drove it really hard. Well, I mean, to my comparison, hard, not to some of these other guys hard. And I came in and I noticed the inner right front was at 12%. So, but yeah, I drove it hard and I knew I was sliding it here and there and stuff like that. So I knew the tyres could last over 30 laps, but still, you don't know how. Oh, here we go.
Oh, Michael Quain and I think that was Sean Cullen getting caught up together. As Mick Clifton and Andrew Rushworth come in as well. So there's a bit of argy-bargy happening at the moment here, Brett.
Yeah, Sean's got it going again. Good to see. Unfortunately,
Stoles is into
bad luck.
Yeah.
So Clifton's in, Rushworth is in, and Stoles in
as well. Front runner's not in yet, so they want to try and build gap as much as they can, apparently. Yeah. At the front of the field, which I think is a smart play. You're at the front. You don't want to risk it for the biscuit and hope for a safety car, because you may not get one. It's it seems simple enough to say, oh, you could pit now, and then if there's a safety car, you do well. It's like, well, that's if there's a safety car. Just because there's been safety cars in the first 4 races does never guarantee you to get a safety car in the next one, unless the next one is the likes of Long Beach or Belle Isle. Then you're pretty easy certain to go for that move.
So Vandy Mullen here just keeping really in contact with Jim. He's only half a second behind him. Blanchard's just over a second behind them, and I did see Muggleton before was under half a second off the back of Blanchard. So Muggleton really was putting pressure, but he's just dropped it back a little bit there. So things are a little bit spreading out up front here at the moment. Zealand Degoe and Viger still in a battle there, and Lovegrove, Taylor and Mackay in a bit of a battle. Other than that, the field's sort of spreading out just a touch.
Here's that battle between Lovegrove, Taylor and Mackay that you mentioned. Taylor really just hoping for a good move as Burns and Viger are in, that being Rick. So Paul Burns, Rick Viger into pit lane now for their stop, as does Lovegrove. So he comes in.
Yep.
That gives Taylor a bit of a reprieve. He'll be able to push on now. Mackay will be hoping he can get past him fairly quickly and just try and push on here in this race.
So 7 laps down. Can we see? Can we bring up who has already pitted?
We can indeed. We can do that.
Yeah, let's have a look at that, and we'll just see how many people have pitted. So we've got nearly half the field pitted at this stage.
And the laps that they've pitted on as well. Sean Cullen, the only outsider of that group who's not pitted yet. Just been having some bad luck as well. Rick saying in the chat that there was very little risk of stopping early and not taking tyres, or if not taking tyres. That's very true, Rick, as well. But if you're, I almost feel if you're inside the top 10, you risk getting put back into the field and then getting caught up in traffic, and that's where the risk comes in of taking that early stop.
Not that I was worried. Not that I was. I mean, I was actually further back in the pack anyway. But that's what I was thinking of. I didn't want to come out around guys that were going to help me up and stuff like that too. But also probably knowing now that a lot of the top end of town had actually pitted, it was probably not a bad thing to come in. But I didn't just yet. Spoiler alert.
So the battle at the front, as Reese to go, he's in.
Yeah.
But the battle at the front is starting to heat up here because Jim's starting to get put under pressure from Vandermeulen, who's got Blanchard and Muggleton hot on his heels as well. So the top four have started to condense a little bit more.
Yep.
At this
Blanchard's
stage.
closed that gap up. Blanchard's closed that gap up on Vandermeulen. He's under a second. Muggleton's under a second, under half a second. Sorry. So that front group is closed up. Heddersheed is off about 3.5 seconds off the back of Muggleton. So, and then you've got Hoffman. So Hoffman's managed to sort of regain some control there. So that's good. He's in the sixth spot at the moment. He's about 3 seconds off the back of Heddersheed.
So for Muggleton, trying to apply this pressure, I mean, he's hoping to get back to winning ways. He had an incredible race last week to battle his way back up to P4 in the race. Really paid him dividends, got him some solid points after his win at Mid-Ohio, got him the Driver of the Day award last week as well. What can he do here tonight? Can he get himself another win? I mean, at the moment, all three of our current former race winners this season are in the top four. Blanchard is the outlier. So by our logic of we've had a different winner each week, is Blanchard the next winner of the season?
Ooh, is he? Who knows? It'll be good to mix it up again and keep new winners. It's like when everyone wins the lotto. It's good to have a different winner each week, isn't it? And lots of winners. We can't all be winners. Well, can we? I don't know.
I mean, we can somewhat be winners, I'm sure. I'm sure.
But Muggleton is closing that gap too. Like he's just now under 4 tenths.
Yeah, he is. Oh, no, sorry.
Yeah.
I do apologise, Mikey. You were Driver of the Day last week, not Muggleton. Maybe Matt was Driver of the Day in my heart last week. That's what it was.
Look at You look at Mikey defending his Driver of the Day last week. Big time.
Defending it for his life.
Muggleton.
Yeah, he's wanting to push on. He is wanting to push on. Thank you, Jim. Appreciate it. I'm so sorry, Mikey. I mean, this battle's starting to heat up at the front now, Brett, and none of these guys have come into pit lane yet. Really, the only front runners that I've seen come in is the likes of Rushworth, who came in lap 5, maybe trying to undercut Randall by not being in behind him anymore, and then the likes of like Rick Viger and maybe even Reese Goey, who were up there, as well as Clifton, who was inside the top 10. Ricky Hyde's been in. He accidentally took tyres on lap 2, so he's now got to do a lot of laps on one set of tyres. That's going to be a tough slog.
Yeah.
But, when are the next ones that come in? Is it a Mulford who's up 23, or does he continue pushing on? Is it a Weston up 16, and O'Brien? It's actually Chad Viger, who's up 11 and in P10, so he slots into pit lane. We're past critical lap. So any of those drivers that had already pit prior to this lap could now realistically come in, as you also come in, Brett, could now realistically come in and make it home on fuel if the safety car is called. So that now changes it up a little bit, but the drivers who haven't pit will be hoping that there's no safety car before lap 17.
Yeah, I didn't want to get left out of the party there. I thought a lot of people pitting early, and I thought, better come in early. It's this is the way to go, obviously. One thing I did notice too, and I know it's a shorter track, so the time is going to be obviously condensed a bit, but I think there was 25 drivers within 1 second in that qualifying time. So that just goes to show how tight it is. Like 1 second. That's a small amount of time.
Well, it's tight in that fact. It's also tight in the fact that some lap times from split 3 and even split 4 have been split 2 or split 1 worthy over the last few weeks. So the field is so tight. Not even just in our own split, but upper split and down 2 splits as well. So it would be interesting if we could somehow custom draft up a split of the fastest lap times of one track. I know they used to do pre-qualifying on the night. I do not want that to happen ever again. I love the fact that we have a full season of the same split. But it'd be cool if we had a one-off where we could test, on average, the fastest qualifiers, the 40 fastest qualifiers of each round, and put them on a circuit and just see what happens.
Yeah, well, that's right. Yeah, but even if you grabbed, and there's a bloke out there, I think he's one of my team members, that I'm sure he'd have a spreadsheet there somewhere to be able to throw you actually what the times were over qualifying on this track and over the 4 splits, and you'd be quite surprised on how much crossover there was, you know.
As Halil Cesar and Adrian Zeal are now into pit lanes, they take their early stop here as well. Lap 11 of 40 as they now exit pits at this stage. Halil, of course, still running that Miami Vice S colour scheme of the Cooler Master car. He's always one of my favourites when I see Halil out there with this colour scheme. No matter what layout it is on that livery, it always looks incredible.
We've just seen Haynes, some make a move on Adrian Zeal there, just further back on the pack, so he'd be nice to release that. I'm just wondering how Haynes is going. He's sort of fallen off my radar for the last few races. He's normally been, you know, up in the top end of town, and I haven't seen him up there, so just want to see how he's going there too. He might be struggling with a few things, but just hasn't had a good run the last few races.
Yeah, he's just maybe struggling to find that ultimate pace that he's once had. I mean, we've seen him have some absolutely glorious performances here in Split 2, but I don't know, just maybe not up to his previous standard of the past, as Brett Taylor and Scott Weston, the EWT cars, come into pit lanes. They're sticking to their strategy. Lap 12 of 40. We've had no issues thus far in this race. We can see both Steve Lanyon and Paul Burns have already done their first compulsory pit stop of the race. They're going to come down the main straight. Are they going to get past both EWT cars? They are. So interesting how these strategies are all going to come together. Could we get a multitude of strategies on offer for us that all somehow play out perfectly here tonight, Brett? Where we just get a symphony of strategies where some people have stuck to their guns and it's played out for them, and others have come in expecting a safety car, not gotten it, but still played out for them.
Just checking on chat. Yeah, sorry, Simon's been away, so that's the explanation there, that he's obviously been away. So yeah, well, it'll be good to see you back on there, Simon. Get your ass in a gear. I later on in the race had a multitude of what was that team you said? Was it EWR? EWT?
EWT, East West Tasmania.
That's right.
Racing.
Yeah, I had a multitude of EWT cars around me at one stage there, so I was feeling quite the fish in the EWT sandwich there for a while later on the race.
Is that because you're a fisher? Is that why you felt like a fish?
Probably. Yeah. Lorne Mackay in the pits.
He is.
So lap 13.
Lorne's in of Accelerate Sim Racing. The front runners have still yet to pit here on lap 13 of 40 at this stage. We'll see where Lorne comes out in comparison to some of these other drivers. Burns is still leading this battle pack of Lanyon and Cesar and Viger. Reese to go, trying to catch up to them. Here comes a bit of lap traffic of Michael Quain. Hopefully he doesn't pay any dividends. Oh, there's a bit of a door wiggle between them. I think there was contact then.
Oh, that was a big shake there.
That was a very, very big shake.
Inside, nearly 3 cars wide there, but we've got 2x2. This will be interesting coming into here.
Here comes the Vigers trying to get past him now. Vandermeulen and Muggleton are in. So 2 of the front runners trying to undercut Caperonis and Blanchard in this pit stop. It's lap 14 of 40 at this stage. We're getting eerily close to the end of the first tank stint, and if we get there without a safety car, and everyone gets to pit under green. The early stoppers, well, the gamble, necessarily speaking, for the safety car has not paid off, but they're still in good strides because they have got one CPS out of the way.
This is a fantastic little battle pack too. It looks like everyone's having a red hot go here.
Stoyles is in as well. So 3 cars into pit lane of Vandermeul and Muggleton and Stoyles. We'll see if Rushworth can get by Stoyles at some point across the next lap, or if he gets him through pits. Lanyon's gone round, and then there's contact with Quain as well. Big damage on that SLS car, and he's about 100 metres too far away from pit entry to bring it in and get it fixed. He's going to have to traverse a whole lap with that damage on that car, and you can see there, Brian, that's Reese DeGoey, who's, I think, been caught out by something as well. So it is absolute heartbreak for the sheer genius entries of SLS racing.
Yeah. That's unfortunate, that. Yeah.
Oh, and he's
nice
just
to see
still
what
struggling.
Yeah, probably just trying to figure out what's right and wrong with the car there.
Jim's in. So end of lap 14, start of 15. Jim Caperon is into pit lane. Blanchard goes another lap. So
Viger, Zealand, Haynes in a close battle there too, down in 16th, 17th and 18th.
Yeah, and they're dealing with the lap traffic of Michael Quain, who is not making it easy for them at this stage as they're trying to get past.
Really bunching up that pack.
Yeah. I can see that. I mean, that's got to be absolute hard. Oh, and he's done it again. He's done it again, has Lanyon.
Wow.
And it's rolling back, and well, that thing's parked up.
Yeah,
I have a feeling he might be calling for a tow, which all of a sudden, if you're Jim Caperonis and there's a safety car, you got to come back around and come straight in. If that is the case, you've got to.
Because you know you can get home.
Well, it puts the top 8 drivers on wood for Blanchard, Hedersheed, Hoffman, Randall, Fisher, Mulford, O'Brien, Hasler. They've not pitted yet. I don't know if the safety car's been called just yet or not. I think Lanyon is still parked. But these guys, if they're going to come in, they've got to come in now. Because they cannot afford to go a lap extra in case the safety car is called. And then they've got to hope that Blanchard's in. So Blanchard's in.
Blanchard's in, yep.
Safety car is coming out on track. So this has now not played out well for those drivers in the top 8, unfortunately for them. The gamble of hoping for green. Oh, yeah. So top 4's in. Randall in. Fisher's in. I'd expect all of them to come in. Does Jim come back in? Because you'd expect now everyone comes in. Everyone's got to come in because you get you get that second stop done and dusted. You've only got to do he stayed out. Could this be a misplay from Jim Caperonis? He has stayed out. It's going to put him at the front of the field, so he'll have track position. But for Jim,
Vandermeulen's in,
everyone's got to be in. Yeah. Everyone has got to be in at this point.
So he's got track position, but he's done himself an injustice here.
So Cesar's also stayed out, and Hedersheed's just come out from his first stop. So this here is perhaps the chink in the armor of Jim Caperonis tonight. This could cost him the lead of the championship. I mean, it is.
That hurts my heart. Because he was like, look how well he was going to. I know Vandermeul and
he would have been the top-seeded driver who was eligible for the pit stop. Yeah. So he wouldn't have come out. He wouldn't have come out in the lead, but he would have come out in the provisional lead without needing another stop. Oh.
So at this stage, are we able to see? Oh, see, is Jim the only one who hasn't pitted a second time, or there's others?
No. So there's others as well. So if we have a look here, where is it? Here we go. So we can actually see the counts of stops.
Yeah.
So
Arnie's done one stop.
Yeah, and he's in a world of hurt at that point, being so far back. But then there's
Horsler,
O'Brien, Mulford, Fisher, Cesar,
Randall, Hoffman. Oh,
so
Blanchard, Hedersheed, and
Muggleton is now the provisional leader of the race because he does not need another pit stop. And no matter how long they go green, I do not predict Jim Caperonis to gain 35 seconds over Matt Muggleton to allow time for a second pit stop. So I think, unfortunately at this point, Dane Hoffman did pit. He pit though when the safety car was called. So that he didn't actually pit prior to the safety car. So he had not pit at that point. So he had to come in and take one stop. So,
bloody hell, my heart goes out to Jim. Like, because I mean, look. Okay, he's had a blunder, but you look at what he was doing on track before this blunder. So he's hot this season. You know, like we don't know how this all plays out as yet, but up until this point, mate, he's the man on a mission. You know, like he's got the lead of the championship. You know, so he's in the box seat still at this point. I think
the struggle is now is the race isn't long enough. I don't think for Jim to fight his way back up to at least the top 10.
I don't think so either. But what I'm saying is the fact is that you know, like if Jim was having just a hot run, you know, and he one or two races that, you know, look at him go, you know, like he's having a ball terror. But what I'm saying is up to this point, he was leading this race. So clearly whatever he's doing is working and working well. So he's just got to continue, you know, take the hit, you know, take the hit, you know, man up, go right, let's move on, and keep pushing forward further in the season. Because I think Jim is still a high card for this season, I think.
I agree. I you know, this is a you know, it's a drop round pretty much for Jim now if he ends up towards the back. And he'll lose a drop round out of his back pocket, but he still has one in hand for the last 5 rounds. So he's still in good stride at this point, and he's not out of it just yet. He's in now the same position. If Van der Meulen were to stay in that provisional podium position, he's still in position to be in the same scenario as what Sean is. One drop round used, maximize everything else, and make sure that round, I think it was round 3 where he finished P12, make sure that is your second drop round, and that every other round after is perfection. That's what you've got to do now for Jim. It's going to be tough. It is going to be tough.
It's going to be tough, yeah. It's going to be tough. We hear the safety car pull away, so we're almost ready to go racing again.
Yeah. Dane saying Jim is the man to beat this season. I think. I think Matt has been up there with him enough to make claim at that, and I think Sean over the last few weeks has also done so. I think we're only going to know who the man to beat is this season by perhaps Interlagos in a couple of weeks' time. I think that's when we're really going to know who the person to beat is. In the early 2 rounds, it was Jim. The last 2 rounds, it's been Matt and Sean. It's been the Matt and Sean show. So
here we go, getting corners to go.
So we'll see what happens when we go green and when Jim puts the foot down.
I'm looking forward to the closing out of this season because it's still going to be hotly contested by a number of drivers. So here we go.
Green flag.
A bit of a poke on the inside.
So Heddersheed's trying to put the pressure on Jim here early on. The main point to remember, and the main drivers who have to keep it clean from this point in, is Matt Muggleton, Sean Van der Meulen, and everyone in behind them. Because they are the provisional leaders of the race. As Hoffy has centred on the outside of Blanchard there at turn 3-4. He's gotten the job done. He's now on to P3, but they've got a world to go to try and gain position in this race. They need track position. They need carnage further back between the drivers who have completed their 2 compulsory pit stops here this evening. And as we run down through 7, 7A and 7B in towards turn 8, the pressure will be mounting on them, and it's now damage limitation for the top 8 drivers in the field, the top 9 drivers, I should say, in the field. P10, that's the first driver who's taken 2 stops. That's Matt Muggleton, who can get home on this fuel and on these tyres. But the question is, the only other X factor is now, Brett, is if we get a safety car, and the drivers who pit on lap 15 didn't take tyres, and they're saving their fresh set for a late dash, trying to gain anything they can. I don't know if it's going to be enough for them to gain, to get inside the 10, but it might again be damage limitations as Van der Meulen's put all sorts of pressure on Hasler.
That was a half move there, and we look like Rushworth was having a look on Van der Meulen there as well. So things are really after the restart here, and there's a lot of cars. There's a menagerie of cars banked up against each other, and Rushworth running wide there, maybe trying to get a run on Van der Meulen.
He's not quite
but
close enough.
It's not over until the fat lady sinks.
That's right.
I don't know whether you can say that anymore, but I just did, so bad luck.
You can say it.
Looks like someone just had a look on the inside of one of the AJR cars coming through that turn there. I don't know who that was. But there's a lot of battles up and down at the moment, up and down this whole pack. It's starting to spread out a bit further down the pack, but
we can see Chad Vigers putting pressure on Simon Haynes. Ricky Hyde up 18 positions at the moment into P18 on the road, but started behind the safety cars as well, so there's a couple of differentials in there for the positions gained. Matt Scholes is having a good run up 12 here tonight after starting in pit lane as well due to a penalty overhanging his head. Good to see him back in the field, good to see him running his way forward after a couple of weeks away from the series, and hopefully now he can push on, try and get some strong finishes and get a good championship performance under his belt here this season. Prior lap to this one, Jim Capronis at the fastest lap, 125.86, goes 126.31. This time across the line, header sheet's gone right with him. Burns is back in pit lane. Have to wonder if that's a penalty coming his way as well from race control.
Oh, we'll look up on my little cheat sheet
Let's have a gander. Let's see what's happened as to why. Cesar is still putting pressure on Randall as well. Damon Fisher hanging with them, same as Tim Mulford, Bretton O'Brien, Matt Muggleton still inside the 10. So if Matt can pull this out, he'll be the first driver this season to get 2 wins next to his name. We've gone 4 rounds with a different winner every single week. This would be the first time we get a double up.
Yeah, so Paul Burns got a drive through from race control, so he's done something there. He's caught up with him.
Oh, Brian Minogue just had an off track, and that's more damage.
SLS have been in the walls.
It's an expensive bill for SLS. I'm glad I'm not paying it, because that's now 3 cars that have been in the wall, 2 cars without a front end on it, and it's parked up.
He's pulling up too.
And that's in a dangerous spot.
Another safety car.
We very well could, and what it will mean is the front runners will have to come in. Fisher's had another blink up inside the top 10, so if the front runners are going to come in, they've got to do it now. They have to come into pit lane if this safety car is called, because there's no point continuing on and sitting at the front when you've always got to come and do that second stop. If they're going to do it, they need to do it if this is called now, and it has. So the safety car's been called. These drivers are going to pit. They've got to come in.
Here we go. Let's bunch them all up again, reset them, restack them, and
Jim,
let them go again.
Jim is pushing as hard as he ever could right now just to build this gap. He's got to build as much as he can and hope that the drivers further back are driving at half speed to slow up the field. That's what he has to hope for. So as we run up towards 7A and 7B, and as the leaders will look to be coming into pit lane once again, we're going to take this opportunity to give thanks to our title sponsor, Racekraft Simulations. Once again, we appreciate their support for the series, and you guys supporting as well, so be sure to hit the like and subscribe, the bell icon if you're new here to V8 Veterans or to the Infinity Broadcasting channel as well. We'll be back very, very shortly after this short ad break from Racecraft Simulations. If you're in the WA area, head over to 16 Grogan Road, Perth Airport, chat to John and the team, test out some of the rigs in their warehouse, maybe even buy one of your own if you've got the spare coin. But enjoy it. We'll be back very soon. Great to be back after that short ad break, ladies and gentlemen. A big thank you once again to Racecraft Simulations for supporting the V8 Veterans all throughout Season 23. As I mentioned, that address again, 16 Grogan Road, Perth Airport. Be sure to go chat to John and the team, test out some of the rigs they've got on their floors, and order something for yourself as well. They've just struck a deal with Sim Rigs not too long ago, so you'll be expecting more opportunities Australia-wide, not just in Perth now, for Racecraft. If you are outside of WA, you can order a Racecraft Simulations rig straight to your door as well off their website. And if you've got the coin for it, I recommend you order that PT1, which you'll see at the end of every V8 Veterans broadcast here from Infinity Broadcasting. The run-through of the rig at the very end of the show, it is a beast of a thing. It does cost a good amount of money, but it is worth every penny you would pay for it. Just seeing all the little minute things that are on that rig, it looks incredible, and it's one that I would hope to be able to test out myself one day as well. But we're back. Pit stops have occurred. Everyone is in the hot seat, and Matt Muggleton is leading the way once again before the safety car restart. Vandermeulen P2, Rushworth P3 as well. There's contenders left, right and centre. Ricky Hyde up 29, Weston up 21, the Vigors up 15 and 12 apiece, Clifton and Rushy up 8, Muggleton up 5, Vandermeulen up 1 at this point in time. Before we go green, who's your front runner for driver of the day at the moment here, Brett?
I even actually had a look at it a little bit prior, and I've forgotten who I thought I was going to pick actually.
Well, remembering that the winner can't get it again.
No, I know that. I know.
Harlan's already won a driver of the day award. I don't think Sean has at this stage. So it leaves the door pretty open for some of those big gainers inside of the 10. There's some drivers outside the 10 though who have been good gainers, like some Skulls and Mackay. Even yourself, Brett, and P14 up 9. That's a fair effort from you.
Yeah, I was happy with that. I'll tell you, I was having a good one. And this next section of the race is a lot of fun too. We had some fantastic racing around there.
I think before we go green, the most heartbreaking thing is this little pack here of drivers back in P23 and below. Those drivers who only got the one stop in before the first safety car, they've now got work to do over the next 16 or so laps of green running, and that's going to be a tough task.
When I was actually having a look at for possibilities of driver of the day, I actually looked at the hard luck stories as well, and on my list I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 drivers who had really bad luck in this race, whether it be through the faults of their own or others, or pit strat or whatever it is. There was all those drivers. Driver of the day, I've got 2 possibilities at the moment. Maybe Matthew Skulls or a Ricky Hyde.
So you're just gone for those who've gained the most positions at the moment.
Yes, at the moment, yeah.
So the counter argument I would make, I do think that they both have very good races. The counter argument is, if Matt didn't have a pit lane start penalty and actually got to qualify, he likely would have qualified around that area. If Ricky Hyde didn't start from the back of the field and actually qualified, he also likely would have qualified around that area.
Yeah.
So that then points me to the likes of
then
points me to the likes of Scott Weston, who doesn't normally qualify around the top 10 or inside the top 10.
Good point.
And is currently running inside the top 10. And then Rick and Chad Viger, who've both had a very consistent run thus far. Andrew Rushworth as well, who's up 8 positions. Same with Mick Clifton. So I think they've all got things to play for, and they've all got opportunity for it. I think it's going to come down to which one of them survives and survives the best and impresses us the most, outside of, well, if they'd actually qualified, they would have been there anyway.
Look, thank God you're all over the stats and where they start. I couldn't remember that, but, very, very good point. It just goes to show how well educated I am with memory and stuff like that too. But I tell you what, I hope everyone's got their drinks charged. I think hopefully they're in a comfy seat, because we're going to see a fantastic race towards this flag. And as I said, Muggleton's up there, Vandermeulen's up there, Rushworth is up there. We're in for a bit of a treat. I think, the closing of this lap's going to see some great racing. And I see we've only got 2 likes so far on the
refresh
the
it.
stream,
We
on
might
the
have
videos.
more if you actually refresh it though as well, Brett.
Is that what I've gotta do?
And then to pander to your point of remembering things, I
I've
would
got 7.
I would hope after my 95, this is my 95th Vets broadcasts, that I would have remembered something by now.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm the sort of person I'm like a goldfish. Once around the bowl, it's all new. No pun intended, but anyway. Here we go. Muggleton's got control of field. He looks
And
like
he's
he's
gonna go
started the other
early.
way there now. Yeah.
Yep, he's gone
Good
early.
choice, good move. Look at him go.
He's gained
Rushworth has
well.
Rushworth has gone with Van der Meulen, so that's a good one there. And Clifton as well has gone. So
Yeah, so those drivers
let's see how
at
we
the
go on the
front
restart. Yeah.
have fought their way forward at this stage. Let's put that on short. There we go. So Muggleton leads the way. Van der Meulen P2, Rushworth, Clifton, and Rick Viger inside of the top 5. Chad Viger hot on the heels of his brother with Ricky Hyde, Scott Weston, Mikey Harlan, and Adrian Zeal is now inside of the top 10 as well. And a great race for Zippy. Didn't race on his birthday, but it's his birthday today.
Birthday Zippy.
And maybe if Zippy solidifies the top 10, he could be one of our options as well.
He could very well be. Could very well be. And
Oh, there's been a bit of contact further back with Damon Fisher.
yeah, But there was a lot of smoke on back further on that hill there too.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, as we
Don't see
see,
one dropping.
no one else is dropping. I think maybe that
Yeah.
might have just been the tyre smoke possibly. Let's check in with our previous front runners. The championship leader, Jim Caparonis, stuck in behind Sean Cullen at the moment, trying to fight his way forward if he can. Next on the ticket would be Paul Burns if he can get this job done. Heddersheed will want to be going with him as well, as with Hoffman and Mulford, if they can sneak on past. But they're going to have to push because the laps are ticking down quick and fast, and the opportunity to
Van der
make
Meulen's
positions
doing
is
it.
dropping as well, as Van der Meulen with
Yeah.
a stellar lap, 125.84.
So he's after the safety car. He's got himself all gathered up, and he's under a second behind Muggleton. So he's just hopefully going to slowly close that gap. There's no panic at this stage. Everyone knows that they've done their pit stops. They've done what they need to do. So now it's just a matter of looking forward and keeping everything under control.
So the front runners are going to keep it under control. The mid pack's got to keep it under control. So does the back pack. Everyone has got to keep it under control at this stage and just fight their way forward as fast as they can.
So Viger in 5th. He's looking, he's half a second off the back of Clifton. Mikey Harland is he's only half a second off the back of Weston. Scholes, Mackay and Zeal having a good little group there as well. Bush is half a second off Taylor. And we've got Blank, same again, half a second off Lovegrove. And we've got a nice big pack behind Sean Cullen there. Looks like Sean's a bit of cork in the bottle at the moment. But so Jim's going to try and get past him at some stage. But like we've said before, it's a very hard track to pass. And so, yeah.
And I've been informed by Adrian Zeal in the chat that apparently he's already won driver of the day, so he would not be eligible tonight.
Oh, good. Oh, no, I didn't say that out loud. Good that you won in driver of the day.
Yeah, apparently he won it in the first round, but that was 6 weeks ago, so please excuse my brain.
God, he could have won it last week, and I wouldn't have remembered. But anyway, that's okay. We'll move on from that.
Well, Scotty Weston is currently trying to battle his way forward. He's got Ricky Hyde up ahead of him, Mikey Harland hot on his heels, who has been a proper contender over the last few weeks. After the sorrows of blowing his engine at Bathurst, he's come back stronger, faster and quicker every single race as well. And tonight he wants to try and fight his way back up towards the podium and back up what he did last week.
I'll tell you what, this battle pack between Weston all the way back to, I think it was Bush behind myself, even Lovegrove, I think, was a fantastic battle pack in the closing stages of this race. So it's probably one to keep an eye on because there was some really good battling going through this pack.
Yeah, Paul Burns.
Hot something can't do.
Well, I was going to say, Paul Burns, who's hot on the heels of the train, he's trying to chase down Brett O'Brien at this stage. Caperonis has finally gotten past Sean Cullen, and Heddersheed wants to try and get his way through as well, as would Hoffy and Mulford. So they've got to try and get by as quickly as possible. They don't want to let Jim run away. Heddersheed sends it up the inside at 14. Here comes Hoffy as well on the outside.
On the side.
Oh, they're trying to get it round him as fast as possible. Something's got to give, though, as well. I mean, he can defend the position, but you've got to know who you're battling here as well. Hoffy's passed. Mulford wants it too.
Mulford's made a positive move there, really chucked it in on the inside there.
And he's got the job done.
Getting a flow past, yep.
It's a great set of moves from them. As further up, Vandermeulen is hot on the heels of Muggleton at the front of the field. Rushworth's with them too. And he wants the lead. There's a bit of a tour, and they're off the track, down the hill. It is a schmozzle at the front. Multiple cars getting tangled in that one. Vandermeulen, was he maybe overzealous? I mean, he was alongside. I'm not sure. We'll see what race control say. But it's getting feisty at the front.
Yeah, that got feisty very, very quickly. That was pretty intense. And look what it's done to the field too. Look, you know, it's compressed the field a substantial amount, you know, all the way up to probably 12th, even further back, you know. So still looking hot too. Vandermeulen still sort of wanting to make that move on him.
He wants it. He wants a second win in a row. It's the battle between Muggleton and Vandermeulen. At this stage, they're the only two drivers who could be a double winner this season, with Caperonis so far back in the field. They've got to take advantage of him being down there. As Rick Viger was trying to go for it on Clifton, it seems there may be contact, and it's an inter-brother contact as well. Call mum. They've had a punch on mid-circuit as Chad goes round.
Oh, no. Is someone not going to be happy in that family? Oh, look at Mikey Harlan on the inside there.
Harlan wants it on Weston as well.
Yeah, he's got that move done. That was hot. That was a great move. But have a look. Look how this field here is just compressed, and it is, you know, it's hot. Things are popping off left, right, and centre here.
They are. They're falling by the wayside as well.
Yeah, people are probably starting to get desperate, you know, a little bit out of position to where they probably might have thought they would have been, seeing opportunities and just making things happen.
Reese asking if that got called in. I'm not sure, Reese. The penalties have not been announced. Oh, they have now. They have now. So now we can actually check it. Was that one called in? I've got to figure out what lap it was on.
Lap 29. I think it's still on this current lap, isn't it?
Yeah.
It'll be 29 or 28.
Yep. I believe it was called in.
Have a look at this pack behind you, though. Like, it's just brewing. Look at that front straight. Like, these cars all the way up and down that front straight. You know, the safety cars definitely sort of compress the field, and people do get a bit excited. So
let's give an update further back on those drivers who were caught out by the safety car. Caperonis has fought his way forward, trying to catch up to Paul Burns. Heddersheed's gone with him. Hoffman and Mulford have continued their way forward. Keep an eye on them, though, I think, Brett, because these guys have tangled previously this season. Hopefully they keep it clean here tonight. That's all we want whenever we see drivers on track. Randall and Cesar managed to get past as well. Cullen has been knocked off a little bit. As you see, Haynes is up on the grass. I have to wonder if they maybe come together. Haynes is going to give it back, though, but it's getting feisty further back in the field as well.
It's getting feisty all the way up and down this field too. Like, and especially with having you know, top end of field drivers out of place at the moment, they're going to want to push their way through. So, you know, like, obviously that's going to cause you know, not contention. What am I trying to say? It's just tension, not contention. Tension, sort of, you know, like trying to push through the field and everything like that. Yep.
And Reese has also confirmed as well. He was asking actually if the brotherly love one between Chad and Rick was called in. It was not. Rick's also claiming team radio was very quiet in that moment. I'm not surprised, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I could imagine. I would want to be a fly on the wall.
Yeah, it's like Chad asked him what was that, and he's like, "What do you mean?
Dude,
crashed?
What are you doing?
Rick's just, we crashed. What do you mean? That never happened. Keep driving."
Yeah. Focus.
Oh, Hoffy's been off the road in a wild run, and his contact with Mulford on the rejoin to the circuit.
Wow. Oh, Hoffy. Randall in close behind there too, so Randall's probably going to have a bit of pace coming out of this corner here.
He's trying to get by, and he just can't. There's smoke. Yeah, I think that's header sheet who's locked up, so it's all happening further back in the field. These guys, maybe a bit of frustration setting in after the misplay of the safety car possibly. But man, it is getting hotly contested.
Yeah, look how close the field is, all the way up and down, you know, like from you know, I mean, from 7th to about 22nd, just about back to Jim, you know, like it's really close. Yeah, there's a lot of like, look at Zeal. Skulls, there's only, you know, there was only less than half a second. Mackay, there's only less than half a second. Goey, less than half a second. Myself, there's less than half a second. You know, these, what a field here. You know, like it's just like we've talked about before. It's a pressure cooker waiting to sort of pop off, you know. So, you know, yeah, any small mistake made by anyone or just putting that little bit of pressure on. And we're getting down to, we're lap 32 of 40 laps. So, you know, like the pace is going to pick up, you know, the desperation is going to pick up, you know, like people are going to want to make a little bit of move if they can. They don't want to stay stagnant. So, you know, things are going to get fiery.
Oh, they are indeed. You can see here that Zeal and Weston trying to battle at the back end of the top 10. They got Skulls hot on their heels as well. So we'll see how this begins to materialise a bit further on forward. Yeah. And how well this battle contends.
Sorry, Skulls just had he had a good run on Zeal and closed right up there. Zeal's come out a bit thin there.
He's really starting to feel the pressure as Adrian. One thing that Adrian does week in and week out, we've seen it time and time again, he makes it tough for cars to get past him, Brett. It is not easy to race on the back of Adrian Zeal's car. So that's, you know, if he can figure out where he can find some pace to run with the front runners, he's going to be difficult to beat.
Look at the angry pack behind him, though. Oh, that's a big wide swing. Trying to get some sort of advantage coming onto the front straight, whether he can do that or not. Great view out the back of Zeal's car. Oh, look at this.
Here comes Mackay. Big send at turn one. Oh, but runs it way wide.
Does he come back on cleanly?
He did. He did.
On cleanly, so he's done well to keep that under control. So I remember that during the race. Adrian's got a bit of a break.
Adrian claiming I'm calling him fat. I'm not calling you fat, Adrian, at all. I'm saying you're hard to pass on track. You make your car very wide. That's what I'm saying. Oh. I can't get over it. I mean, some of this battling. But I mean, there's been some low percentage moves that have paid off. There's been some that hasn't. But all in all, it's been a great race. I mean, it has been a race for the ages thus far at Barber. It's anyone's game, realistically. At this stage, Muggleton's got a good lead, 1.5 seconds over Vandermeulen. Rushworth on the podium. Is he our sneaky favourite for driver of the day? Quite possibly. That's a hell of an effort from him. Same for Clifton in P4 as well. I think the fact that Rick took out his own brother may nullify his ability to win driver of the day. And then I don't think it comes down to Scott Weston or Adrian Zeal. Although Adrian's already won it, so then it comes down to Scott Weston after that. So
yeah. But have a look at this. It's still compressing. It's still only half a second in between a lot of these drivers in this top. You know, like what are we? 7 to. You know, back to
P10 or 11,
16.
Like even further back
further than that. Yeah, it's way back. So there's a lot of pressure in this pack, and there's things that do happen.
Well, how are you feeling the pressure in this pack at the moment, Brett? Seeing as you're a part of it.
Well, I was on the back of this pack. I know I had a couple of guys behind me, like Stiles. I knew he was quick. Viger, he was quick. You know, so I knew I had to keep my head in the game, and keep myself pointing forward. You know, there was a couple of times where I got the car fraction sideways out of a couple of turns, but I was able to manage maintaining speed, so I was happy about that. But watching up ahead, I could actually see that the guys were closing in really hard, and I knew that something was on the boil because they were getting very, very close to each other, and people starting to sort of make some moves inside, outside, showing the nose, and just trying to sort of make something happen as we start to close down these laps. So
I think as well, I mean, you mentioned how much pressure's being applied and how feisty it's getting and how the pressure cooker's starting to boil. It's starting to get filthy further back as well, and I mean that in a good way. I mean, these guys are trying to battle for any position they can. This battle pack of 4 cars has really started to condense now over the last few laps, led by Lovegrove, with O'Brien, Burns and Caperonis all a part of it as well. So this is one that could start to heat up. We know that the long train of like P7 back to P19 or whatever it is could definitely start to heat up as well. It's the question of when. He's closed that gap right up. Oh, he has indeed.
Yeah. Look at that long way around. He's been able to maintain that speed in that car, so having that little bit of a longer run out there. Things are starting to tighten up here too. Zealy and Scholes right on the back of Zeal.
Yeah, with Weston in there too, so they're all starting to get involved, and they're all starting to apply pressure and try and pick off any position that they can at this stage of the race. As we run up through 9 and 10 and up towards 11 and 12, when does the pressure cooker lid start to sort of shift, and when does it start to crack open for some of these drivers? There's only so long you can go for, Brett, I've found, where the pressure is immense enough that you survive, and eventually it just crumbles down the hill, and it just ends in tears.
Desperation.
Yeah.
The laps are winding down, so you sort of think to yourself, like, do I need to make a move here? Have I've got a good run out of that corner, as we see Zealy get a good run out of that corner. Can I do something with it, or do I back out? Zealy right closed now on Weston.
He's trying to apply pressure.
I mean, there it is. Then we get a little bit of a touch.
There's contact.
Sideways. And then they're coming back into the pack there.
No, and it's knocking them both outside of the top 10 nearly. Weston survived in there for now, but that's big damage on the Team AJR car. These guys are getting feisty, and it's getting furious. Reese DeGoey wants to sneak up as well.
Going inside.
It's getting hot, and it's getting...
it's balling up. It's balling up.
And we expected it to happen. We expected it to happen with the amount of battles that have been occurring all night on track, that it was hitting boiling point. And
so they're 2 or 3 cars wide coming into that corner, so they managed to all get themselves sorted out.
Zippy claiming he's going to be switching off. I wouldn't, Adrian. I wouldn't click off just now. Surely not.
Zippy, you stay there and watch this.
Yeah, you stay there and watch along. We're gonna keep an eye on these battles all throughout the rest of the night. So what this has now done is this has now allowed Mikey Harland up to P7, Hyde up to P6, Rick Viger's still in P5. This is such a strong run from Vic here tonight. I think at the moment for me, Brett, and you can give me your thoughts as well. I think at the moment for me, front runners for driver of the day, Rushworth, Clifton, Viger, and Lorne Mackay. I think these guys have had a great run now. We could argue that Lorne would be up here too if he'd got a better qualifying in. He did set a lap, so he didn't start from the back without a lap time. I think for me, though, the top 3 out of that 4 is the 3 inside of the 5, the Rushworth, the Clifton, and Viger pick.
Yeah, 100% agree. Let's just go back a little bit further to Goey. Goey's having a look. Yeah, here we go.
Yeah, he's trying to get this
Weston
done on
the inside of the Goey.
Oh.
That was a good move there.
It has, Matt, but he's already won a Driver of the Day award. He shouldn't have reminded me that he won it last week. He's cost himself a Driver of the Day award now.
So Weston got out of that one all right then. DeGoey's trying to get a run on down here. Weston runs a little bit wide there.
Yeah, and I think it's just finding your right opportunity, trying to line it up, trying to set it up for yourself. I think Reese can do it. He's just got to be patient, and we've seen that drivers, they haven't necessarily been so patient just yet. There's been a couple of last-minute decisions made, or maybe just drivers getting overhung with each other as well, trying to gain. Because we're so close to the end. The race goes by so quickly. You're just trying to get anything you can out of it. That's what the goal is. So, for some, they've got to be smart. For others, it's, well, we're trying to fight our way forward if we can. As Caperonis and Lovegrove are battling further back as well. Kappa's trying to follow Paul Burns and Brenton O'Brien through here. Turn 1 action. Championship lead on the outside of Lovegrove. There's contact made! Round goes Kappa, drops a spot. But Lovegrove's going to try and redress it. But, I mean, Caperonis has dropped a heap of spots through that.
Yeah, that's harsh, yeah.
And I mean, it could be any driver. It could be any driver, Brett. Does this now come back to know who you're fighting, and
yeah, definitely,
and then defend accordingly? Is that what this comes down to?
Definitely. It's heating up again, back in this Zealy pack as well. Things are starting to brew again through here.
Yeah, really feeling the damage as Adrian Zeal at the moment. And I can sense, Brett, that you may be able to smell blood in the water hotting behind him at the moment. Maybe hoping you can get past.
Yeah, well, I knew that he got himself in a bit of trouble there, and I was thinking that he was might have overhead eyes a little bit, and I thought, oh, here we go. I might be able to make a position or two coming through here, but also knowing that Stoles was fast and Chad was fast as well. So, they were going to pounce at any stage. As you see DeGoey have another look on Weston up front. So, big move there. Weston runs a little bit wide, but comes back.
Oh, he's caught on the outside.
Yep.
Oh.
Zealy having a bit of a look on the inside there as well.
I mean, you could barely fit a cigarette paper between them at that point there, Brett. There was
nothing
in it.
Joey on the outside of Weston. Zealy having a look on through the inside as well. We've got 2 by 2.
Here we go. Turn 5.
Wide.
Oh, can they keep it clean on the exit?
Yeah, Zealy's coming through there. He's just leaned on Weston a touch, but they've all got through there unscathed. And have a look at the menagerie of cars behind.
How have they kept it clean thus far? There's the contact. Oh my God! Are they both simultaneously? Bit of tandem drifting from them, Brett.
I did not know which way to go. And have a look at Chad coming around the outside of Weston there. Great move by Chad there. He's picked that and he's kicked the goal. And this is where I was in the sandwich. Had a bit of a look on the outside, but I thought this might be a bit advantageous coming to this corner. And
just keeps it. We've got the white flag. The battles at the front continue on. Matt Muggleton leads to Sean Vandermeer and Andrew Rushworth. Mick Clifton, Rick Viger inside the 5. Ricky Hyde at the moment is got massive pressure from Mikey Harland, who's then got massive pressure from Ricky's teammate Matt Scholes. So he's got to play the mirror and look straight ahead game at this stage, but he's got to try and find a way past if he wants this top 6 position.
How much heat can you get in this last closing stages of the race? I tell you, a bit sideways out there. So Skull putting the foot down a little hard.
Oh, is he going to try and go for it over the hill?
Oh, we'll see. Who's that running a bit wide? Is that Clifton?
Yeah, that might have been Clifton running wide a little bit there. That's allowed Rick past him. This has been a stellar race thus far, but
there's a lot of things going on all over the track. Look at him go. Look at Harlan go, having a bit of a look. He's got team behind and sideways.
There's contact! Off goes Ricky Hyde! And Mikey may have things to pay for that one. Matt Scholes is hot with him as well. He mentioned he had big moments earlier as Matt Muggleton will take the win here at Barber. Vandermeulen and Rushworth on your podium. Rick Viger will make up the top 4 with Mick Clifton for the top 5. Mikey Harlan will cross the line in P6, but he's gone over the incident limit. That'll drop him down the order. Matt Scholes will get P6. Lorne Mackay, Ricky Hyde, Reese DeGoey, and Adrian Zeal will make up the top 10. Chad Viger, Brett Fisher, Scott Weston, Matt Stoyles, and Brett Taylor up the top 15. What a race to the end. What a win from Matt Muggleton, the first 2-time driver of season 23. And it's a phenomenal points gain for him as well.
That was a huge finish. And well done to Matt Muggleton. Well done to Sean Whelan and Andrew Rushworth. That was an awesome finish, guys. Well done. Well played. And I know we can't see everything, but it was a shame we didn't see my last probably 3 or 4 corners, because I'll tell you what, it was hot. So Western and I were side by side there for a second.
In a perfect world, we'd be able to see everything. You know?
Oh, of course.
But what a race! What a race!
Oh,
what a
sensational.
moment.
I hope you all enjoyed that. That was fantastic
I'm
stuff.
going to put up the Driver of the Day nominations in the chat. We only want to see these names. Driver of the Day noms.
What a fantastic race though. Like, it had everything, you know, like we had a couple of safety cars there, you know, it restacked and packed the field a couple of times. You know, like, yeah, as I said, I made a list of hard luck stories, you know, some of them, you know, Chris Blanchard, Paul Burns, Jim Caperonis, Simon Hedesheed, Andrew Hoffman, you know, Hale Cesar, Shane Randall, and I think that's all. But, you know, like, yeah, some I don't know why, but you know, a lot of them qualified fairly well, but unfortunately finished down the pack. So, yeah, that was my hard luck stories for those guys. But I tell you what, great racing between everybody. There was a couple, obviously, you know, penalties handed out and things like that. But there was some really close racing. It was a track that really sort of lifted the intense fighting a little bit through. You know, if someone makes a mistake and you can capitalize and yeah, no, it was really good stuff.
So our provisional race results here this evening. Matt Muggleton will take home P1 ahead of Sean Vandermillen and Andrew Rushworth on the podium. Rick Varga, Mick Clifton for the top 5. Matt Scholes, Lon Mackay, Ricky Hyde, Reese DeGoey, Adrian Zeal for the top 10. Chad Viger, Brett Fisher, Scott Weston, Matt Stoyles, Brett Taylor for the 15. Chris Blanchard, Brenton O'Brien, Paul Burns, Jeremy Bush, Tim Mulford for your top 20, with Jim Caperonis, Simon Hedesheed, Andrew Hoffman, Derek Lovegrove, Halil Cesar for the 25, Shane Randall, Damon Fisher, Dave Arney, Mikey Harland, Nick Hasler, and then further back, Simon Haynes, Sean Cullen, Steve Lanier, Michael Quain, Brian Minogue at the back of the field. Our race controls here this evening with David Coleman, Jamie Dyke, and I believe Tom Freeman in the safety car as well. So a massive thank you to them for showing up once again. Massive congratulations to our podium finishers. It seems to be a fairly unanimous... I see what you've done there, Brett, you sneaky little sausage in the chat there. It seems to be a unanimous decision that tonight's driver of the day will also be the first driver that we speak to here this evening as well. It's P3 on the road for Apex Esports League, and it is going the way of Andrew Rushworth. Let's drag him in and have a quick chat. Andrew, congratulations. P3 on the road here this evening, as well as the Chubby Buns Burgers Driver of the Day award as decided by the chat. Phenomenal drive from yourself. Great strategy. Up 8 spots and onto the podium for the first time in Split 2 this season. Mate, what's the thoughts? What's the feelings? And how pumped were you at the end of that one?
Yeah, thanks, Hamish. Thanks, Brett. Yeah, really pumped. It was an awesome race. Loved the one tyre change. That really threw a spanner in the works for the race, because I found that during practice the track was really chewing the tyres up on longer stints. So I just tried to, you know, manage the tyres as best I could, and yeah, I just wanted to try and stick with Sean. Once I came out, you know, I was in P3 after the second safety car, and yeah, I was very surprised at how many drivers actually pitted under that second safety car. It just meant that coming in early actually paid off, you know, so.
Well, Andrew, what was, just quickly before I hand over to Brett, you're obviously playing for the safety car at Barber, pitting around about that critical lap in the hopes that there may have been one in the first regular stint of 17 laps?
Yeah, I think I pitted lap 6 or something. I basically just followed Mick Clifton in, because Mick qualified just behind me, and he got a great start, and he was a few cars ahead of me. So I ended up just deciding to follow him in. And yeah, I think we got kind of lucky with that first safety car that came out a couple of laps later, and that's when I just decided to pit to actually take tyres for that and do my second stop there, and knowing that I could get home from that second stop. And yeah, So it was a really fun race. Just unfortunate to cop some damage with about 12 to go, and had steering damage and front and rear damage. So couldn't quite fight as hard as I wanted with Sean and Matt. But yeah, I was extremely surprised by the end of the race to be, finishing on the podium. So really
We've done
happy.
you've done incredibly well to finish third, like you're saying, you're having steering issues, damaged car and all that sort of stuff. Andrew, you sitting, as of last week, you were sitting sixth in the championship, and having a third place tonight must give you some great confidence coming through this championship.
Yeah, a little bit of confidence. 'Cause it's just the fact that the field is so tight. Like, I think the
Mm.
top 25 in qualifying with like 0.8 of a second apart.
Yep. Yep.
So qualifying really matters, and I was nearly half a second off my PB in qualifying, so it wasn't the best spot on the grid for me to start, but P11 wasn't too bad. It's just not where I was expecting or hoping for.
Well,
But
you've made hay while the sun shined anyway.
yeah, it was a good fight. Really unfortunate for Jim with the timing of the safety car just
Yeah.
after he'd pitted.
Because he's quick. He's quick.
Oh mate, he's insanely quick.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think he's one of the nicest guys in Vets League. He's
Have to agree with you. Yeah.
yeah.
Top
So,
bloke.
and
With
he's got a lot
with
of
the
faith.
tracks coming up, closing out the season, what are your thoughts? How, I mean, not to give too much away, but are you strong on the closing tracks? Do you rate yourself?
Without giving too much away.
No, don't give too much away. I don't, don't
No, I
sell
don't
the
wanna-
house, but you know what I mean. Like, I mean, you can say, well, I've got one or two tracks that I'm shit house out. I'm hopeless. But or you said if you can be mildly confident to say, look, I expect to do, like I'm going to be in that top 10, top 15, or top half of the field. So yeah.
Interlagos and Virginia VAR are not really my strong points. I like Canadian Tire Motorsports Park in Daytona.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna have to definitely get some seat time and practice for the ones that I don't feel as strong in. But yeah, we'll just see how the season plays out, and there's still 4 rounds to go. So it's was it 4 rounds to go? No, 5.
5.
Five
yeah,
rounds. Yeah.
5 rounds.
Yeah. 5 rounds. We're halfway
5
through.
rounds to go, halfway through.
Yep.
Um,
So still
yeah.
still a lot to play out. I mean, like anything can happen. We're only halfway through the season. But as I was saying, you're sitting nice in the championship. You're in the top 10, and you've just come off a podium finish in third position. So I'd back yourself a little bit, and like I think yeah. And I don't want to put the commentator's curse on you at all, but nice to see you have a great finish and doing well so far in your season.
Yeah, thanks, Brett. Appreciate that. And shout out to everyone in the chat that nominated me for Driver of the Day. Thank you very much. I know there was quite a few drivers out there that also deserved it. Scotty Weston had a great run. Had a couple of really good saves there after getting tagged a few times.
Mm.
But no, we'll see how the rest of the season plays out. And I know it's definitely going to be very close between probably at least the top 10 or 15 drivers. So
Definitely,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. I think we're in for a really, really good close to the season. I think it's just going to be one to watch.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, we'll just have to see. And plus, weather playing out as well. That's another factor. I haven't done much wet driving, so we'll have to
We'll
see how it,
we'll see how it all
plays out.
rolls. Yeah, see how
Yeah.
it all pans out. Anyone you want to thank before you head off tonight, mate?
Yeah, absolutely. Firstly, I'd like to thank yourself, Brett and Hamish, for the commentating. Always love it. Massive shout out to the V8 Veterans League and Racecraft Simulations. But with the team sponsors, shout out to Padian Advanced Simulation, Next Level Racing, Five, Dubby, Fanatec, Razor, Stump Grinding Central Coast, Chubby Buns Burgers, Project 45 Designs, and Wiper Pools and Spas Services. And massive shout out to Brad Hayes. He's been a tower of strength for me, you know, being on track and being able to run laps and try and keep my pace up and keep learning this Gen 3 car. Yeah, really appreciate all the support and massive shout out to the Apex Esports League and all my teammates. Yeah, thanks heaps. Appreciate the support.
Well, Andrew, thank you so much for coming and have a chat to us. Best of luck at Winton next week. We look forward to seeing how you go and seeing if you can try and get yourself another top 5 and maybe even a podium next to your name too.
Yeah, thanks, Hamish. Look forward to it. Thanks, Brett.
No worries.
No dramas, mate.
Thank
All
you.
the best.
Have a great night, guys.
You too. Next up, we have got Peter on the road, Sean Vandermillen, who's unavailable to have a chat to us here tonight, but he did send me a message to read out for him. He's out at the moment with nature refreshing his mind to be focused on the week's racing. He's away with his wife at the moment. It's Sean, but he was watching with us earlier along as well, so thanks to him for watching along. He wanted to give thanks to 95 Sim Sports, Racecraft Simulations, RSW Graphics, Track School, Track Days, and Racing Ears. He also wanted to thank us for the broadcast, the admin, and all the vets drivers that show up each week and make it what it is. So a big thank you to Sean for sending through that message for us to read out for him. Whilst he couldn't be here this week as well, and we look forward to seeing how Sean can do next week out at Winton. Next up, though, our race winner, the first 2-time race winner this season for Old Mate and Sons in the Pagnian Simulations entry, it is Matt Muggleton. Matt, congratulations. Your second win of the season, your first to go 2 here this season, pipping Kappa, Trent, and Sean to that little stat. And now, as we've often seen in seasons prior, apart from last season, this is now the swing point of the season as we get to the halfway mark. This is where we really get into the meat and potatoes of who the contenders are and who the pretenders are. And at the moment, you are looking like a top-tier contender for the title after last season. You unfortunately missed out on Split 1 due to having to have your knee rebuilt. That new knee's coming in handy, and it seems that the boys with knees under the age of 40 are coming P1 and P2. I think we may need to start IDing those knees, Matt. What do you reckon?
It almost seems like it might be a performance advantage, but yeah, it's just started to free up actually in the last fortnight, so it's starting to feel really good now.
Well, mate, you've had an incredible run over the last few weeks, of course. The win at Mid-Ohio, the comeback at Donington to get up into the top 4. And now the win tonight at Barber as well. How much confidence has the last 3 weeks given you after the first 2 rounds? And now leading into Winton next week, is that confidence driving you forward? And are you finding the pace that you need to hopefully qualify up the front so then you can continue fighting for these wins over the next few rounds?
Yeah, definitely. Qualifying has certainly changed for me. We're talking about it in the team and approaching it differently. So getting up the front is so important, especially at a track like this where it's so hard to overtake. But also, just looking through what everyone's sort of saying in chats and everything like that, we all sort of know now this car is hard to overtake in. So I'm starting to look for advantages elsewhere, like really attacking the pit lane entrance, trying to really make sure I only take as much fuel as needed, and then also that outlap on cold tires. So looking for those areas that'll make a little difference. And in this race, in that first stint, I was behind Blanchy, and he made it really clear a few times there's no overtaking opportunity here. So went for that undercut, and then after I don't know why Jim stayed out. I'm not sure how that all played out. It sucks for Jim, but leading up after that, in that second little stint after the first safety car, I was behind Brenton O'Brien, and he was at the same thing, very robust defense. And I thought, okay, the move's not on. So just think about it. The safety car changed everything then with guys staying out. All those guys peeled off and sort of inherited the lead. So I knew that I was waiting for all those guys to peel off, and I was racing Sean.
Mate, just look, fantastic effort tonight. Well done on the podium, and you've broken Hamish's heart in being a dual winner now of this series. What are you going to do for the rest of the series? Are you? I'm going to ask you the same question that I asked Mr. Rushworth just moments before. Is that closing out the last 5 tracks? How do you see yourself? Are you going to be a strong contender? I mean, you don't want to blow your own horn or anything like that, but hey, you're doing well so far. So yeah, I mean, you're currently you're in P11 on the championships as of last week. So this week's going to boost you up there a little bit. So that should be good. But how do you see the closing of this championship?
Yeah, I have been thinking about it. Actually, Hamish, I do apologize. Actually, when Sean got to me there on like 28, 29, whatever it was, I must confess, I was thinking about it, and then I thought, hang on, Sean's already had a win too. How do I switch this all around and get Rushy up here? No.
You had to crash Sean off the track and then give the win to Rushy to keep the stat going. It's fine though. We're building new stats with the Gen 3 car. The Gen 2 stats are in the past. We've got new stats as of season 22, so we're going to build that over the next 2 years, and we'll have something to ramble about when we're at season 33 in 2 years time, so we'll be fine.
Definitely. Yeah. But I think for the rest of the season, like round 1 and round 2 for me, they're disasters. They're going to be drops. If I finish that bad again, like I may as well forget it. The championship's over. So I can't afford any mistakes now. And I mean, that was kind of how Donington was. After getting turned, I knew it was an accident, but I just drove it like I stole it all race to try and get back up there. And after Sean got to me, I thought, well, I can't back it down. I'm not going to be able to cruise. I didn't recognize how fast he was coming at me. So once we had that little moment, I thought, that's it. This is qualifying now. 10 laps of qualifying. I had the off tracks to spare, and just went for it. So, but I'm going to approach the rest of the season now. Like, I'm not thinking about like winning the championship. All I'm thinking about, I just want top 5. Just got to be in top 5. I know who all the guys are that I'm kind of racing around now, and I just want to.
Have you got any track
pit lane strategy? I think.
Have you got any track that's coming up that you're a bit, I wish I was a bit better at this track, or I need to do a bit more work on it? Not to give too much away, but is there a track, you don't even have to say what it is, but is there a track you're not a little bit fearful of, but you know what I mean? You go, I could be a bit better at this track, or are you fairly confident with the tracks coming up?
I don't mind the rest of the tracks. A couple of them, they're like real big favorites, and one of them's kind of like I'd take it or leave it. It's like a new Star Wars movie, and take it or leave it. Doesn't really care. But there's nothing really too concerned about coming up. But Winton in the rain, everyone wants it, right?
Well, has that been confirmed or denied yet? Do we know, Hamish?
I don't think so. I don't want Winton in the rain. We were talking about it pre-show. I actually think the best tracks coming up for the rain would be either Most Sport, because it would actually extend the 150k race to be like 2 hours long thanks to safety cars, or Interlagos. I think Interlagos would be good in the wet. I don't think Winton suits wet because of how hard it is to pass there already in the dry. You don't want to do it at Daytona because it has the bowl and they don't race in the wet there.
You've swayed me. I agree.
Yeah, and then VIR would be deplorable if it was wet for the final round. So I think if it's going to be anything, it should be Most Sport or Interlagos, but that's my opinion.
Oh, yet to, I mean, look, hey, weather, we can't control it, can we?
Indeed.
Well, we can, but you know what I mean.
you might have to rub up on Bruce a little bit over the week, Brett, and just say, hey, can we not?
I'm not rubbing anything on Bruce.
Oh. Well, thank you so much for coming over to chat to us, Matt. Congratulations on a second win this season. We look forward to seeing how you go at Winton and see if you can make it a third out of 4 races. And it would also be, 4 top 5s in a row as well, which would be an exceptional effort from you. Really puts the pressure on the other championship contenders going forward. Let us know how helps get you and Old Mate and Sons out on track. Anyone else you wish to give a shout out to as well? For myself, Brett, and the rest of the league, congratulations on your race win at Barber Motorsports Park.
Cheers, thank you. Thanks to you guys. Great broadcast, always enjoy it. Thanks to Old Mates this week, the strategy talk. Even without the safety cars, I think the strategy would have been on point, and that was awesome. And also Rushy for the 3rd place. I was talking to him just before. No idea he was carrying so much damage. So to drag that thing across the line. Awesome. So thanks, guys. Much appreciated, and looking forward to next week.
No worries, Matt. Thanks so much once again. We look forward to seeing how you go and if you can continue this run of form for yourself.
Cheers. Thanks, guys. We're going to keep pushing it on.
Very good. Apparently, the subregs are out for Winton, Brett, according to Rick Viger, and it's not there for weather. So Winton is going to be dry.
Yeah,
which then furthers my belief that it's going to be most Sport or Interlagos. I'm hoping Interlagos, honestly. It's a bigger track, 200k race. If it is most Sport, that will extend the race a little bit because we're likely going to get safety cars if it's wet. That's fine. It depends how wet it is the issue. How wet is it? And what's this changeover period going to be like? So that's going to be the tough task. But it's been an exceptional night of racing once again, of course, as well. Matt Muggleton, that's the headline for tonight's race. He's the first driver to take 2 wins this season. It's definitely not going to overtake any other headlines that may be roaming around right now. I've checked certain things, and there's going to be headlines coming. But regardless, Brett, thank you so much for coming over chat. Not coming over chat to me. Thank you so much for joining me once again. We did have a chat, though, didn't we?
We did have a chat.
Yeah, we did have a chat.
Kind of like a chat. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Fantastic to be here. I hope everyone enjoys what we put together here, and glad to be here.
Well, next
not
week.
Damon.
No, not Damon. Next week, though, we head out to Winton Motor Raceway for our home race of the season. Technically, John Van Ray's home race of the season, so we'll see if he can get himself a win in Split 4, but we'll see as well what happens in Split 2 action as well. It's one of my favourite circuits. I look forward to it every single time it comes up on the Supercars calendar for us. Big shout out there to go to our series sponsors, Racecraft Simulations, Logitech G, Parramatta Isuzu, Play One Sim Gear, Nova Sim Sports, Sudspeed Gloves, LGC Images, and Chubby Buns Burgers for the Driver of the Day award. This week it went to Apex Esports League's Andrew Rushworth as well. We look forward to seeing you guys next week for this race. I'm excited. I love Winton. I love racing this circuit. It's one of my favourites. And I look forward to seeing how the Supercars drivers do there once again in Vets. But I've been Hamish Munro with Brett Fisher alongside. We appreciate your time. Appreciate you being here with us once again. If you're watching over the Infinity Broadcasting YouTube channel, be sure to hit the like button, the subscribe, the bell icon as well, so you're notified whenever we go racing with the Racecraft Simulations V8 Veterans Split 2 action of Season 23. And as well as the VRS Virtual Racing School Porsche Cup Series. Next race of that series will be on Monday, round 7 at Phillip Island. So you guys want to check that out, 7:50 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. And be sure to hit the like and subscribe button if you're watching over on the V8 Vets channel, so you're notified whenever the Split 2, Split 3, and Split 4 action happens across your weekend as well. But until next time, we thank you for being here with us. We'll see you guys next week for Winton. But until then, stay safe, drive hard, and as always, bye for now.
Can't wait to hear those engines roar. Hot days and summer nights, finish line in the sights. Can't wait to hear those engines roar. There'll be sparks flying, rubber burning, doors banging, temperatures rising. Can't wait to hear those engines roar. There'll be hot days and summer nights, finish line in the sights. Can't wait to hear those engines roar. There'll be sparks flying, rubber burning, doors banging, temperatures rising. Can't wait to hear those engines roar. They're gonna roll. Ooh, they're gonna roll.
The Racing Series is a new milestone in Logitech G.
All the great old wheels, the G29, the G920, the G923, they all have their own unique way of connecting to each other, but there's no room for expansion with those products.
So the question arose was, what if we were to give the opportunity for the racer to switch out from a drifting wheel to a GT rim?
With the wheel hubs that we've created, that's got a very specific button set, but you can replace any of the steering wheels.
And the real lovely aspect to this was we could give the user, driver and the racer the opportunity to experience different genres of race.
That allows drivers to craft high quality, customized setups that resonate with your individual racing style.
When we start with the design, we always start sketching. But very often, once we've got sketches, we start discussing with engineering.
We had 3 rounds of engineering testing or user testing where we invited in users from sim racing, and every single round of feedback we refine, the product based on what they tell us.
In the sim racing lab, again, we're going to use data to really analyze what a driver needs. We've used everything from eye tracking to the inputs from the pedals, the inputs from the, let's just say, input devices, the wheel and the pedals, the shifter. We're taking that and we're compiling it so that we can build different products based on those individuals' needs for all consumers and all drivers.
I don't know of anyone else in the industry that's actually doing this kind of research into their products to see how their products are affecting performance of their users.
We've built the product to make sure that it's as reliable as possible.
So the innovations in engineering that I'd say we're most proud of is the sequential handbrake and shifter toolless changeover. This is now a patented system, so it's really easy for the user to just switch between modes.
If you give people the tools to do what they want, they will.
They will just go off and have fun.
Introducing the Rackraft PT1, custom-built full chassis racing simulator. The design project, codenamed The Cage, an 80/40 extrusion chassis sitting on top of a Sigma Integrale DK2 Plus 4-point full motion actuator system. No compromises in the cockpit of the PT1 simulator. To maximize the experience, we start with a 49-inch ultra-wide monitor for the greatest field of view in a small footprint of the simulator, down to the SimuCube wheelbase that's tucked up and behind the monitors with SimCore extensions to get things out of the driving area. Everything is connected to a Cube Controls GTX steering wheel with the built-in dash and all the extra button functions available at your fingertips. Driving through the Raceworks S1 pedals, the potentiometer throttle and the 2 hydraulic pedals for brake and clutch ensures you maximize the feel underfoot, and seating yourself into an OMP HTER bucket racing seat with OMP belts connected to a G-belt tensioner to provide that extra feeling and the heightened experience while you're driving. Additional interfaces and accessories in the PT1, we have twin butt kickers, one on either side of the OMP seat, as well as a Jinx sequential shifter, the SimPush Race Logic timer to the left-hand side, a Rackraft built-in WinSim kit with Philips Hue lighting and a built-in soundbar, plus the OMP side net to finish off the experience in the PT1. The Rackraft PT1, build number 1, the ultimate in sim racing experience, combining the best products in the market with the passionate, no-compromise approach that goes beyond racing simulation.